John, I think you're right. I think it is going to slowly transition back, but I don't think there's any rush because one of the things we talked about was getting that early lead, right? And they obviously did against the Bulls, although the Bulls started to climb back in. But I do think that with Hayward and Brown on the bench, that's where they really can get. And Terry Rozier, obviously, now that he's hot too, I think they can get that lead that if the starting unit doesn't get it, they'll obviously stay close because of the defensive efforts, especially if Marcus Smart. But, Marcus Morris has been on fire from outside. I think Chicago was his first bad game where he wasn't just torching every open shot from three, but outside that might have been the first game, honestly, where he missed like 2 or 3 wide open threes. And with all that said, even if they only stay even for whatever reason or another, I think that second unit it's a second unit that resembles our starting unit last year. And with the opposing teams' second units out there, I think they can really distance themselves. And that's what we were hoping for. We were hoping for more and more big leads that could potentially be sustained by the bench unit. And then in the fourth quarter, we could see the likes of Yabu, and we'll talk about injuries after we finish this. But we wanted to see the likes of Ojale and Yabu. We wanted to keep the minutes down for some of these vets, reduce the potential for, yes, our next topic, injuries. So I really like the way that this is. And I think it's a slow transition back to that starting lineup. I think they actually work them out in closing minutes first before they reintroduce them as the starting lineup.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll actually even go back to being starters. I wonder if they'll stay with this. They'll stay with this structure to start the game, but they will close. And I think it's going to be Warriors-esque, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. The Warriors don't start their lineup of death, and I think I think we're now seeing why that is. But we still know that when we think of the Warriors, we think of the lineup with Steph and Clay and Draymond and KD and Iguodala. That's the lineup. That's the one that you worry about. And I think putting the Celtics version of that, which is, Tatum, Brown, Hayward, Kyrie, and Horford, to get that fivesome together, that's what I think they need to work on here from the rest of the way, trying to make sure that unit is as solid and as strong as it can possibly be. And I think that's the effort. Where they fall and where the lineups kind of, or I should say the rotations perhaps overlap and allow for that group to succeed, I think that's maybe where things will be tweaked, that they'll be trying to find ways to maximize that, whether it's fourth quarters, whether it's, second quarters, as they're kind of dovetailing one group coming into the other. I think that's what they're going to try to do. I think they're going to try to build it that way, as opposed to, okay, we're going to play them all together and then all of them are coming out. It just seems it doesn't allow for the strength of the team to come through and we allow guys like Tatum to take over or Brown to take over, Hayward to take over, which has worked so well here over the last few weeks.
And we already know that Rozier really isn't a traditional point guard, which is why you had said, hey, it makes so much more sense to keep him alongside Smart. But I'm not so sure that that's the case. I think Smart in the starting lineup also helps get Kyrie free because he can take those ball handling responsibilities. Originally, it looked like maybe Hayward would be taking that pressure off. But the thing is you get such an uptick in defense and you get balance in the rotations, balance in the lineup itself. And Smart can do so many different things for energy to start out the game. So that part really works well. Secondarily, Terry gets that support that maybe he's sort of like, I don't even want to say he's battling with Smart because he's not, right? But at the same time, Gordon can kind of share those responsibilities, and he's so good on the pick and roll, which works great against opposing teams' second units because they're just never solid pick and roll defenders. And all of a sudden, Hayward is just slicing and dicing them. Some of the passes he had the other night were phenomenal. And that also allows him to just slowly build his confidence and get his athleticism back to where it needs to be. And then Brown also benefits because he can really be very aggressive. This whole thing with having Brown get stuck in the corner to shoot open threes, he's been pretty good considering the criticism of him when he was coming out in the draft. He's been good from beyond the arc and gotten even better this year, but it doesn't it just leaves him too far out of the equation. So much better to have him attacking the basket and going at the rim. And he has that opportunity with that second unit. And again, not so much. I didn't see Hayward and Brown together as much in the Bulls game, but in the Knicks game, Gordon found him on a couple of really nifty passes to make an easy. Well, he was basically driving the lane on one play. And on the other one, I think he was coming in from the wing. But either way, it just made it really easy for Brown to score. And his athleticism towers above most second units as well.